Hey, Mama.
What it do?
What's happening?
Today's gonna be a little different because I'm gonna guide this one. Are you nervous?
No, you know what? This morning when you told me we had a set this morning and we were there and I get a text, you're like, I got this tonight. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing because usually we talk about something. It's off the cuff, but we talk about a scenario that we're going to talk about. You said you're going to guide, and I'm like, one, super trust, but I don't know what we're going to talk about. If I can just do one thing real quick.
Run it.
I'm going to take my metaphorical seatbelt and I'm going to put it on.
Yeah, good call. You're going to need that.
So let's
Make
go.
Make sure your airbag's on.
Let's go.
Bend over.
Of course.
I brought props. And by props, okay, so to preface this, last week I had said that I felt like everybody should work the 12 steps because I think they're super beneficial for everyone. It's easy to say that, and anybody watching could internalize that, but unless you actually know what that means, people aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, she said the 12 steps are great. Let me look them up. And even if they do, it'll be a quick glance. But to see it in action, in motion, I wanted to merge spirituality and the way an AA meetings run because honest to God, at 17 years old, the foundation of AA changed my life, saved my soul in ways that you can't even really conceptualize until you see it. I understand how the media works, so I want to give somebody, whoever can benefit from this, everyone, but whoever will see what that looks like, will hear what that sounds like. They'll have a tangible of sorts to be able to apply to their own life because Adrian is not privy to any of this and doesn't know the concepts, has never participated in AA or anything equivalent. Again, this has nothing to do with alcohol right now specifically, but how you can apply it to yourself in terms of going deep within you and finding a faith structure, non-denominational, spiritually. It could be a tree. It's about a higher power or a power greater than yourself, right? So this morning, while AT was at his thing downtown, I was climbing around the garage because he put my books and stuff up on shelves in boxes. So I dug out my big book. This is 17-year-old Meg. This is what I do to books. I had a pocketbook version as well. You'll have that, but we'll get there.
Okay. With her art, because this one is very talented. She still does this stuff.
I sure do. But I made them look the exact same because of who I am as a human. I was like, no, it's the same, but miniature. And just in case you feel inspired to write anything down, because you will also have a paper, I'm going to give you a pencil.
Thank you, thank you.
And would you like to pick a Sharpie?
I will take this one here, thank you.
Would you like a spritz before we get going?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Man, that was like a whole day spa right there in 2 seconds.
I'm gonna put these over here, just in case you need them or feel uncomfortable. I brought, because again, the intention is to dig deep. For it to be effective, you need to be uncomfortable. So I hope that tonight you feel uncomfortable, and you already are. Let's pick your poison. So I have a hacky sack, one, because it's a hacky sack and they're amazing, but also as a sensory toy that's nice if you need something to hold on to. I have a selenite wand, and I call these the yin yang. We have tourmaline and selenite. So we'll leave these right here. Also, if it feels heavy or you just want to refresh, we have some Palo Santo. Okay, to start off, I also printed these out. This is the AA, they call it the preamble. We're just going to go through what it would look like if you had a sponsor. Now, a sponsor in AA is also what I feel, what I do for the people in my life. This puts a structure and a format to it. I will sub Alcoholics Anonymous, with all due respect. I will sub it with spirituality, just for the viewers at home. Spirituality is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from, and we'll say trauma, unhealed, anything, life. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop wounding, we'll say, to overcome. For the overcomers, there are no dues or fees for spirituality. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. Spirituality is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay enlightened and help others achieve enlightenment.
Can I say something real quick?
100.
This woman is brilliant, and I'm just for real. Every day, I'm very grateful. Thank you. I'm grateful right now. I know you said you're gonna make me feel uncomfortable, but
yeah,
I'm grateful for that as
okay,
well.
I
I'm
also
good.
printed out the 12 steps, which
Okay.
I want you to have this copy in case you, as we go through them, because we're going to reference the big book, as we go through them, if you would like to jot notes down or something that
Okay.
comes to your head,
Okay.
you can set that aside for right this moment.
Okay.
Take your big book. I've already bookmarked it to chapter 5.
Thank you.
Your mini big book, your little big book. Chapter 5. So this is also how a meeting would start. And again, the brilliance. These are things that everybody would read at the beginning. I'll try to sub the verbiage with spirituality and enlightenment as necessary. Chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program, usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Truth. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Everything comes down to honesty with yourself. The mirror, right? Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided that you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these, we balked. We thought we could not find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with, we'll say, wounds, traumas, triggers, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God, or a power greater than yourself, whoever, whatever. May you find him now, or her, or them. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. And I think we could go tandem. If you want to start with number 1, and then I'll do 2, and so on.
We admitted we were powerless over spirituality.
Or like our wounds.
Okay. We admitted we were powerless over our wounds, that our lives had become unimaginable.
Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand him.
Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs.
We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings.
Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all.
Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when we would injure them or others.
Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out.
Number 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to all who need it, all of us, and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Bookmark that. Now, there's a lot of people who claim spirituality or claim sobriety or do whatever, but they haven't worked the steps. I think it is important. When I was 18, I was kicked out of inpatient the second time, and I was put in intensive outpatient for 9 months, I believe. And at that point, I was out in the wild again, and I got a sponsor. By the grace of God, my sponsor was the best. She was amazing. Your sponsor helps you work through the steps, which I couldn't have asked for a better human. Deej, you're the best. I love you. I would say at 4, this is where you're going to start today.
Okay.
It's number 4.
Shall I read this?
Yeah, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. Right now, this is shadow work, number 4. It's what you don't like to admit to yourself. It's your wrongdoings. It's the ugly things you've done to people, things that you need to work on. This is your opportunity. If you were making a list right now, what would you see on it as your fearless moral inventory?
You want me to be absolutely
Yeah,
love?
100%. Very transparent. It doesn't work unless you work it.
I'm trying to think. Maybe not always being transparent in relationships.
Okay, deeper. What does that look like? What does that mean to you?
What does it mean to me? That I haven't been faithful in relationships before because I felt that I gave up on it rather than sitting it out. I mentally bounced before it was righteously time to do.
Okay.
This was years and years ago, but absolutely.
What else? Shortcomings, character defects, things that you're not specifically proud of. Anything that comes up, just air it out.
Man, I don't know. I've been a righteous person my whole life. I really have. I haven't done people wrong. I haven't, again, in relationships that I felt that were over, I ended them without the other person knowing that they were ended before. That is something that I really have repented for and something that I would never do because I am such an honest person.
That wasn't the question.
Okay, but the question is, I really don't have anything that I feel that
that you need to work on?
I'm not saying that I have to work on, but I'm saying things that are like shortcomings. I don't know.
You feel like you have no shortcomings other than the fact that you've cheated?
I feel like I've never screwed anyone over. People know that since a child I've been a loyal person.
Pause.
Okay.
Because I feel your energy coming up and you're getting very defensive, and that's not what it's for. Pause.
Okay.
You pause your energy. It only works if you work it. Stop looking outside and what you think people are going to hear and how you want to be portrayed. Look even at yourself. How do you do yourself injustice? How do you do yourself a disservice?
My OCD.
There it is.
There it is.
That's beautiful. So let's talk about that more.
All right. Okay. For real, because others, yes, that's beautiful because you really got something out of me that I again.
An inventory of yourself, a self-inventory. Your stories aren't going to be like somebody else's stories, aren't going to be like somebody else's stories. It's very specific to you and your journey. I'm not looking for anything specific because it doesn't have fucking anything to do with me. It's about your self-inventory.
I believe my OCD is a waste of my time.
Okay.
I believe that being such a perfectionist, it's gotten so much better through our work, but if I don't close a door properly and have the right thought in my head, I'll go close that door again to put the right thought in my head. I think that's a big waste of time. And I've been like that since a kid. When I was 7 to 10 years old, I'd stand on my foot for 7 seconds. I wouldn't step on cracks. OCD has been something that has always been part of my life, and as I get older, it's absolutely more in control, but it's still a thing, and it wastes a lot of time. And it's a disjustice to me because that time could be spent so much more in peace in my head.
Boom. I love that. Okay.
Wow. I didn't expect that today. I know it's not a huge thing. What else? I have a lot of wounds that I feel like I've healed, but there are some things that sometimes I judge things that we get into based on past experiences, which is not fair to you. It's not fair to me. Again, I sometimes move from these wounds because it's not happened once, it's happened several times. I see it as sometimes I'm at war with women. How can I say it? I'll put up a wall. I don't think I've done it in the last year and a half because
yes,
I
you
feel
have.
okay. I guess I have.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
I go into protection mode, and that's something that is unfair to you.
To bring it back to you for your own self-inventory, the OCD, the walls, all of it. Yeah. You're a very avoidant person.
Okay.
You're very fear-based. Your OCD, it's a fear-based. You'll have to spin around to get like a different energy. You're not doing what you think you're doing. There's some kind of fear, which boils down to ego. You're in your ego in those moments. If you're operating out of fear, you're fucking yourself either way, despite whatever actions you're going through. In any connection, it doesn't have to be me. I'm not looking at this as I'm your girl and we're talking about this specific to you.
Yes.
When you're in your egoic brain or you're in your fear-based thinking, you're gonna shut down because you feel that discomfort, and the avoidant part of you, it feels that and it flees because you don't wanna feel that. It's something that's been trapped in you since childhood that you run from instead of releasing. And then it just gets bigger the bigger you get. I'm going to tell a story about the 5th step. You write down a couple ways what you feel in a very neutral moment could help you come out of a fear-based thinking. What you actually find safety in the world right now that you didn't at different parts of your life. You feel me?
Yes, they're coming to my head.
I love it. Just keep writing them down.
Okay.
Okay, for my 5th step, again, my sponsor was amazing and she's hilarious and adorable. I was so nervous because it is so uncomfortable. When I was first in rehab, I was not a talker. I was coming off of drugs and a very rough and tumble lifestyle. They're telling me I need to talk and I was shaking from the inside out and I couldn't get words out because my chest was going crazy. Then the idea of making this list of why I'm a piece of shit in my head and having to admit this to God, myself, and speak it to DJ, who, again, top tier human being, and I know she's not about to judge me, but still, it's that look in the mirror. Fuck everybody else. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It's how you feel about you when you look in the mirror. Like when you get triggered by something, you feel triggered because something about what was said or done resonates. For Deej, she's so cute. She packed a little lunch. She had a bunch of fun snacks. She really did it up. She's so precious. Then she took me to the Henry Ford Estate in Dearborn, and we're sitting on the lawn, and I was like, DJ, I'm getting bubble guts. We can't be here. We can't do this. It's not safe. I was so scared and nervous. That's why I say I have tools for you for discomfort, right?
Yes.
Because healing's not comfortable and it's not cute and it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good right away because you have to feel awful to get it out, right?
Especially when you don't know about it and you're doing it on a podcast.
Surprise!
Right. This is real
Surprise,
shit, man.
surprise!
This is real. This is what we signed up for. When you talk about true facts, truth be told, here we are.
You ever get jumped into a gang you didn't ask to be in? Okay, so what did you have in our commercial break?
Surrender.
What does that mean to you? Surrendering to what?
To believe in, I'm very faith-based, and to believe in all this stuff is a waste of time. My energy is going to be my energy. Like you said, to spin around, to change the energy and to get in different situations that I do, little quirks that I have, it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
But break that down even further because that's still very at the surface. What in your fear-based mind for triggers? Doesn't have to be anything specific, doesn't have to be a relationship, could be work, could be friendship, could be anything. When you feel triggered and that fear sets in, before you bolt out of your body and your guard comes out, ready to protect that little guy in there, what could you do to pause and bring yourself to a, okay, wait a minute, this doesn't feel good, but the reality is it's because I'm uncomfortable, because something needs to be addressed and I don't like it. So what can you do to find safety in those moments? Like touching base with your current reality in that moment that you're existing in. What could you acknowledge? Yeah, this sucks. I've felt this before, but it's not before.
I think with me, what's helped me is jumping into the present, is being present, not letting my thoughts go into the past or the future.
Okay, as somebody that deals with you in these situations, I have never seen you jump into the present. I'm not here to call you out. I'm simply saying, as as your Alcoholics Anonymous sponsor, what can you do? Not a fucking politician's answer. Can you do to find safety in those moments, to acknowledge for yourself? Because again, I might be a catalyst in different moments, but I'm not the problem, so I'm not tripping.
Can you tell me?
If you unwield your weapon.
No, excuse me. I did, I put it down. From a person that is on the other end of it, can you tell me what you can see as a solution? Someone that is dealing with you all the time and is reciprocant of that can be like, listen, if you did this.
Yes. I've been self-actualized since I was 17. I'm 20 years into repeating the 12 steps every day. Not from a self-righteous standpoint, but just I know what the fuck I'm talking about. For me, when I'm triggered, what works for me is I stop and I'm like, okay, is this my wound filter? Is this really messing me up because this really deeply affected me in the past? Or is this following the facts? Am I upset about the reality? What is the pattern that's led up to this moment with this specific human being?
Following the facts?
Absolutely. It's pausing and being like, okay, and actually doing the hard look in the mirror and being like, am I punishing this person for some shit that they're not even aware of?
Yes,
and I'm a sassy person. I have had to call myself out and keep myself in check on the regular for many years.
Be on the reciprocal end of that, yes. But the way you use your tools is I really respect it because you can get in that energy. But then the way you bounce out of it, I know that you're being intentional. That's where my respect comes from, where I'm like, whoa, this is a giant of a human. You said, why do you call me a giant of a human? Because of these actual things.
Yeah, like the cutesy text went to, you're a giant, Meg. And I'm like, you keep giving me pop.
I see this and I see you and I recognize the work that you put in. I would say I'm with my hacky sack, I'm with the crystal. I got all the tools. I know why you brought this out today.
Yep. I got you.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me know if you need a spritz.
Thanks. What did I sign up for?
You
Palo
couldn't
Santo
handle.
needs to come out right now. The
Listen,
energy of it.
before we even come to this earth, we sign soul contracts. We come here to get what we need, despite how uncomfortable it is and how hard it is. It's worth it. And it's what you signed up for.
I love it. I'm good. Where were we?
Okay, we'll go to step 6, entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. So that you can do on your own. You like to meditate a lot,
Yes.
for instance. Instead of having a generic, your routine, because you're very routined and you don't veer from it. I think for you, with your neurodivergence, you stay scripted in a lot of ways.
Yes, I am on the spectrum. Thank you.
Did he need you to tell him?
Go ahead. Excuse my interruption.
That was his ADHD. I don't remember what I was saying now.
You were saying step 6.
Oh, okay. So you stay scripted. The types of meditations and stuff that you do, even, they're very one way. I've not, in the time that we've known each other, seen you branch out. You'll be surprised at like my readings or different things that I do or don't do. What you do that works for you, but also I think that plateaus at a certain point. From now on, with 6 and 7, be more intentional about asking God to remove your shortcomings, asking your higher power, and helping you with your character defects. Instead of, oh, keep me on my path or keep me aligned, bless my family, blah, blah, blah. Those are all beautiful, but they're generalized and they're not progressive. You have to think about the mirror and everything you don't like, all of your shadows, and start asking God to work on those and help you illuminate your shadows, show you what you need to work on, put you in positions to where you have to rise up and overcome it.
Amazing.
Then, number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Anybody, I think, can and should do that. Whether or not you ever share that list with anybody, you could burn it afterward, even getting it out, but then it's fresh on your mind. I believe that making the direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do would injure them or others, I think once you bring it to the surface, and you have that intention on your heart, you will be put in situations. When you think about somebody, oh, I haven't thought about this person in years, then you run into them at the grocery store. Energy flows where intention goes. You will be put in a position to make amends with the people you're supposed to make amends with. It'll be put on your heart until it happens. I would recommend start making your own little list, and if you feel inspired or guided, and it won't be harmful to yourself, and also to yourself, right? It's not just about not injuring others, because there's people that I've had to make amends to, or I could, but also it would not be a safe situation for me to do so because of who they are. And it's okay, what I would be making amends for is kind of like petty versus what's been put on me by that human. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. Once you get in the groove of really calling yourself out and checking yourself and looking in that mirror, almost cyclically, every time you speak, every time you do an action, being so intentional that you have no choice but to be aligned with your highest, greatest good. And it won't sit with you if you're doing some form of wrong or something that's not aligned, and you will correct it immediately. But you have to get in the groove of it for it to become second nature. Number 11, read it.
Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out.
For you, what does that mean? As somebody that is a very conscious being who has a lot of connection and communication with God. This guy's eyes open in the morning. Good morning, God. Love you, God.
I'm grateful. I think what you're saying in terms of being more intentional about asking, I always give a lot of gratitude and I don't ask.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always been like. So again, asking the intentional things of what you're saying is guide me in the sense give me this knowledge.
Yeah.
And be intentional, God, with me as I'm asking you to be intentional.
And also, when you're asking God, your higher power, the universe, spirit, to level you up, you got to be ready to get your ass handed to you in certain ways, because that's when the tower moments come. That's when you're going to start shedding. It's going to become uncomfortable. The things that are not aligned to your highest good, when you are asking, specifically asking to be aligned, they'll start falling off. God's getting you ready. The universe is getting you ready. As you're leveling up, everything that does not match that frequency is going to fall off. It gets depressing. It gets lonely. That's very hard for people in the beginning.
We've gone through it together in terms of our ebbs and flows of we're going through it. We're going through it. And you're always like, we're leveling up. We're leveling up.
For instance, also getting familiar. I said last week, I think people should become more intimate with themselves, in that pay more attention to yourself spiritually and what is happening in your 3D reality that is being shown to you or put on you for the reason of your signs, your symbols, your whatever. You can build your own pattern recognition and you can understand what the signs and the symbols mean. I don't ever want to gatekeep any kind of gifts. If I can help you out, I will help you out. For me specifically, last week, I don't know what it was, but suddenly I had this bump on my neck and I was like, what the heezy? And it ripped off part of the truth on my neck. And I was like, yo, some shit's about to come to light. Again, that's something for me. I was like, the truth is broken. That's, for me, that was broken trust. And I was like, okay, all right, something's coming. Something's coming to light. That's what I feel. And then 1 week later, I knocked the diamond out of my tooth. No more ding.
We're getting it put back on Friday.
Ding. But still, that spoke to me. Oh my gosh, and then something happened today. Oh, pay attention to your thoughts also when things happen to you. Sometimes when you're about to level up, you'll get hurt. And it's almost like you can't level up until you get kicked down first. It doesn't always have to be super dramatic. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm losing all of these things. It could be a paper cut in that moment, and then something amazing is going to happen. But that was not in a dark way. There's no, you know what I'm saying? That's your sacrifice of sorts. As above, so below. So today I got pinched right here, and I was like, okay, this came off. That happened, and I got pinched here. I'm like, it's all the left hemisphere of my body, which is my feminine. Something I feel like I'm taking a hit emotionally soon over broken trust or something that's being hidden. Yeah, I say all of this as examples. Be intentional, monitor yourself, right? Pretend you're your own new favorite show, you're your own case study, and just really pay attention to what happens to you. When things happen to you, what were you thinking about in that moment? What did you feel in your body? Then establish your own baseline. What numbers were you seeing? What songs were coming up when you were thinking about that? Blah, 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 blah.
This is the first time you're sharing that with me.
I keep shit to myself, to be honest. I do, but I don't. I've never really had anybody other than Missy, like in the last several years, to discuss things like this with. It was just my norm, and nobody understood me. I didn't have a community that got me.
Right.
Courtney said when she was out here, she's like, that's crazy you're out here. You don't have a tribe. I was like, I don't have a tribe.
Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, more so now.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I'm such a lone wolf that it doesn't occur to me to speak my things to other people. And anytime that I would speak about myself, I would get punished. It would be used against me, and it's totally harmless, like anything that I'm saying or expressing or whatever, making note of. Are we Gucci? See, what time did that happen? At 7:41. I'm gonna screenshot that and look that up.
Is it the battery or no? It's plugged in.
Gigi's like, fuck Meg.
I rebuke that.
You
and
ever
so does
feel
he.
like Meg?
We're good? Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I bore you? Chlorophyll. More like borophyll.
All right, bet. Prod. Let's go.
Prod bye. I never really had anybody to share it with, and I would get punished for anything I did share or treated like I was crazy. And I was always spot on with my intuition. That causes people who can't look in the mirror to lash the fuck out. It was not worth sharing, ever. My energy was always usually spent working other people through stuff. I didn't need that feedback or whatever.
It's beautiful you're pouring into yourself. I love to see it.
Thank you.
You deserve it
Thank you. I appreciate it.
greatly. Yeah. 12.
12.
Shall I read?
Absolutely.
Having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to faith-based, universe-based spiritualists and practice these principles in all of our affairs.
Boom. Now having read through them, that's different than me not cheaply saying, but just stating, oh, I think everybody should do the 12 steps. Having gone through it and having a microdose of the experience of working the steps, what do you feel?
I feel it's brilliant. It applies to everyone. The way that you have interpreted it, I've always thought of the 12 steps as alcoholism. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, putting it in a different perspective, it applies to life in general.
Period.
And this is a healing.
It's growth, development.
Yes, this is amazing. I have a few friends. One of my best friends is a recovering artist, recovering substance abuser, and really lives by this. I really never knew that this is what it was.
Yeah.
This is amazing, and I still have my Aggies there. Thank you.
Do you want another spritz? Oh, okay.
Is anyone going to see this?
Bert, drop the mics. Cut the audio.
It's brilliant how you have
So-
applied this to the world, Mama.
Thank you. Spritz.
Yes, please.
So I also grabbed, I was sitting on the floor when I was getting ready. I felt guided to grab some decks. I want you to pick whatever you feel guided. And we're not going to do a thorough in-depth unless you feel called to read them out loud,
Okay.
like the large ones. But you could do like the footnote that's on them.
Okay.
Because that was intense. And it doesn't even have to be anything crazy, but the mirror and the shadows, they are intense, they are heavy, they are uncomfortable. So I like to end anything, any energetic exchange that is less than pleasant, to round it off with something uplifting and a takeaway to walk away with, to feel good about, not just, I'm exposed.
Listen, if it wasn't you, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, bye.
I'm
But-
walking home.
No, I'm saying, like,
I'll call you later.
you make it, obviously, because you're my most intimate relationship in life in that sense. You just make it very easy. I appreciate that. I'm very thankful for that. All right.
If you feel called to grab more than one, but you don't have to, because we're going to do 3 decks.
So how
we're
many-
going to do 3 decks. But
I'll grab
whatever,
one from each.
Okay.
One from each is fine.
Okay, then I think you should read the meaning as well, if you feel called to. What does that say? And can you show the card?
The swan in the sun, which is beautiful.
Stop. He even said last week, he was sitting outside when we went to the beach by the house, and a swan, and I'm sitting in the car on the phone, and I'm watching the swan zero in on Adrian. I was like, is that thing gonna hit him? And it just across the water, and it just stopped, and it's looking at him. So I think that's very cool.
It landed on the water like it was a 747. I've never.
Look, it was
crazy.
CIA operated drone. Okay, it was out for blood.
So 5 psychic development.
Ooh, okay. Here we go. Yoo-hoo! Mario coins come out of me. Okay, the energy and healing work you are doing now will enable you to heighten your sensitivity to the energy around you and others. This will assist you in developing discernment. What do I say all the time? Discernment is a feeling you get in your body that signals you whether something feels right or wrong, your sixth sense, your gut feeling. The situation you are inquiring about is asking you to use your discernment. You do not want to take on others' energy, yet you do not want to close yourself off out of fear. Envision energy flowing through you like water. Take on too much and you can sink. Closing yourself off offers a very different energetic experience. When you let the water energy flow as it will and neither embrace it or fight it, you are truly in flow. Remaining at this elevated energetic vibration will allow you to tap into the realms of the psyche. Bing, bang, bong.
She's Miss Cleo.
Follow me now.
Wow, that's That's
Only
good.
$500 a minute. Okay. And then this one is the Soul's Journey deck. The sequence of these decks is intentional as well, just like everything.
She hid this bag all day from me. We were in the car. We went out to dinner.
I'm like, don't even think about it. Got that fuck you up 5,000 in there.
going to take one from each. This is very me. May I?
Yeah, please share with the class. Can you read it?
Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents.
Then to go a bit deeper, this soulful card is telling you that it is time to stop, close your eyes, and become mindful of the incredible gift the universe has bestowed upon you in offering valuable and unique lessons tailored specifically for your soul. This is an important reminder to express your appreciation for what has been, what will be, and most important, who you are. It is time to acknowledge to the universe how thankful you are for being provided these opportunities for insights and understanding. It is also time for your soul to share recognition of all those loved ones in your life upon the earth or in spirit who have helped you form who you are now. You may even find it helpful to begin to write a list of all the things you are grateful for in your life. When you put forth this contemplation and the energy to do this, it awakens thoughts that acknowledge your connection to all that is. By bringing yourself into a state of gratitude, it not only has a transforming effect on the energy and the sacred space surrounding you, but also brings about an overall sense of health and well-being.
Thank you. Wow, that was a beautiful card. That is a beautiful card.
Right?
This last deck, I'm going to pick one, but will you pick one as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
the Isis
please.
Oracle cards. That's my girl. All right. Let's do this. Sorry.
Soul retrieval.
Ooh-wee.
Isis healing goddess now offers you spiritual restoration and deep soul healing through the art of soul retrieval, reclaiming pieces of you lost through trauma, old and new. Soon you will enjoy greater wellness, energy, and power, so be willing to go through the healing process knowing that any emotional clearing taking place is leading you to wholeness. Wow.
Did a hat trick with the cards.
Do you want me? You want to hold?
sure.
Yeah, I would love to.
Thank you.
Definitely.
My
I'm
hat.
gonna. Yeah.
I'm gonna do around the world after this.
I'm not gonna make any uncomfortable questions for you because you just put it out. You put it out there naturally. You're not.
I don't care. Again, and that's not a self-righteous thing. That is 100%. I've been making that hard, uncomfortable look in the mirror since I was 17. And partially, it was interesting at the beginning of this journey for me because when I was in the inpatient, I was at Dawn Farm in Ypsilanti, and I was a juvenile, and I was the only juvenile, and it was all adults. And ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a wife. I wanted to be a mother. I knew exactly who I was. I just didn't know what route to get there. And I trusted everything that I was going through, despite how traumatic it was. But I was still I was very much a soldier about it. I was like, listen, this is shaped, I'm here to really get stuff done. So whatever the fuck this is, and I had a very supportive family. So to be in that space and see the trajectory of, if I don't knock this shit off right now, all of these women who are in their third, fourth, fifth decade, and they've lost their children to the system, they're selling ass to get a fix. I'm just to be 17 and living with these women. We had a pregnant woman out to here who left a meeting in Ypsilanti to go smoke crack, never saw her again. It was a lot to internalize, as I'm also trying to process my own journey. Then the flip side of that, once I was kicked out and I was in the inpatient, I was 18, so I was the oldest with the youth, younger. So then to be able to be a mentor of sorts.
Yes.
And so I've had to be brutally honest, and I knew how my honesty would translate to the younger girls and find camaraderie for them, and they would feel visible and seen because I put it out there. So I've always been very transparent.
When the source lives what they preach, that's where the real trust comes in. And you walk the walk. So
Thank you.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Respect, girl. Okay. Please pick a card.
We out here. The Brother in Darkness. Whenever negative energy is present, Freudian what? Whenever negative energy is present, it is a sign that we are ready to move more deeply into our feminine divine power. You shall overcome any negative energy with grace and triumph. Stay in your heart. There is no need to be afraid.
Wow.
And again, I got whatever, anything's coming at me right now, it'll triumph. And I think I stay in it with grace. So this is beautiful. And shout out universe.
I'm going to process this all through tonight, tomorrow. This is the beginning of the OCD, the continuation of the OCD healing journey.
This is the dawning of the
Right?
age of
As
Aquarius.
as a creative, again, being on the
First of all, the
spectrum,
cameras have been off for 40 minutes.
being on the spectrum a bit and outside the box, that comes with it. I'm sure a lot of creatives deal with these kind of things, but it's something definitely to work on, and also some of the triggers that I have with you based on past relationships and things that I've gone through with whoever. It's the intentionality is there. So the uncomfortableness was uncomfortable, but the end product is just, my gosh, I can't even tell you. I love you. Love seems so cliche.
Whoa.
I respect you, man.
Thank you. I
I respect you. That's the most genuine form of love, is respecting someone.
Back at it again. What a fun ending.
Mama, this was a beautiful conversation, a beautiful episode. I'm glad we can put it out there for everyone to.
Also, be proud of yourself
Thank
for
you.
sitting in your discomfort, because that is something that is very foreign to you. And I don't say that to call you out, but just to really highlight how big that is, that you would do that and be vulnerable and expressive, because that is a micro fifth step in itself. You know what I'm saying? Actually looking in the mirror and having to say things out loud to me and to be able to share that. And that's huge. And not a lot of people can do that.
Thank you.
So be proud.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I am. And I'm proud to be yours. I'm proud to be sitting on this couch with you week after week and really talking about these things. And this was a great one. This was a great one. Being that you are in the driver's seat, how do you want to end this episode?
Peace out, Girl Scout. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. We'll see next week if you made me walk home. Stay tuned. I'm kidding.
Never, never. Truth be told, peace, love. Love you
We
all.
love you.
Menace Television.
Hacky sacks.